Coach Lance here with CFSJ's Inside the Box. Whether you have tight times or tight spaces, we've got you covered. What you're about to follow along with is a 1-hour class shrunk into a 10-minute video. How do we do it? We create pause points, we write out equipment lists, and we give you substitution options to where there is zero thought on your part. So whether you have a hotel room, a hotel gym, or you're lucky enough to be outside, we're going to give you that great CFSJ feel when you're not at CFSJ. So let's take a look at the equipment list. Most of the times fairly minimal, and a lot of times you can substitute these things for things you have around your house, whether it be a water bottle or a filled up backpack. So let's go ahead and grab your phone, let's check out this equipment list, and let's get going. Every class, we're going to start off with 2 minutes of cardio. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a bike or a rower or a treadmill or the outside, let's go ahead and do 2 minutes of rowing or jogging or biking. If you don't have that, then let's start off with some jumping jacks, some step back burpees, some double unders, or some other method of your choice that you can do in the tight space that you're in. If you need a suggestion, let's go ahead and do step back burpees. The thing I love most about step back burpees is they hit everything at once. So instead of making this a dynamic, we're going to make this a very slow, grindy kind of movement, stepping back, engaging that plank on the way forward, driving those hips open, getting that nice hinge and that hamstring stretch, and working the plank and the push-up. By the time you've done about 15 of these, everything is ready. Now again, it's your choice, so let's go ahead and start those 2 minutes now. Now that we have that cardio out of the way, let's go ahead and focus on our 4 main movements of our dynamic warm-up. Today we're going to be developing the lower body, so let's make sure that we spend a lot of time activating the lower body. Starting with knee-up ankle rotations. Pulling that right knee up under its own power, using the quad and the glute equally, giving the foot a rotation clockwise and counterclockwise. We're going to alternate sides 5 times each side, 10 total. Next, we're going to work into a piked calf stretch. For those of you with some yoga background, it's a lot like a down dog, but we're going to put extra emphasis on stretching out that calf. Pump the heels to the ground before walking back into a plank. Our third movement is for the lats, the quadrupedal lat stretch. Also taken from yoga, starting in a child's pose. Down on all fours with knees wide and feet together, drifting the hips back to the heels, reaching the right arm across the body, putting pressure into the floor for a big stretch from the armpit down to the hip. We're going to hold for a second and switch. We've got 10 each side. And last, 10 Spider-Man with double twist. From that same plank position, we're going to bring the right foot up to the right hand, drop the elbow before turning into and away from the knee before switching sides, 10 total. Now, if there's something additionally that you need to warm up, something that maybe you've taken from another class, go ahead and do so here, and we'll see you back at the next section. Today's activation is fairly straightforward. We've got single leg floor touches, tempo air squats, and prone scap activation. We're stabilizing the glute and the hip complex in preparation for our lower body development later on. Starting with the single leg floor touches. Balance is key, finding a focal point to keep your eyes on. We're going to resist the urge to twist the hips right or left as we go down and touch the hands to as close to the ground as we can without losing back. If the back starts to round, don't go any farther. By the end of 10, you may get a little bit more mobility, but be patient for it. We have 2 rounds of this. Next, we're going to slow tempo air squats. The slow tempo is actually an active pulling down, not just releasing your body from top to bottom, but actually using the hamstrings and the glutes to actively pull yourself down. A tip of how to feel this is grip the feet to the ground. So spread the toes out nice and wide, make a big grip with the toes into the ground, and feel like you're actively pulling yourself down against force trying to keep you up. Take about a deep breath, somewhere in the neighborhood of about a second or two on the way down, and the same on the way back up. We're going to do 10. And last, we've got 10 prone scap activation. This is going to look a lot like a Superman. You're going to stay face down, feet are going to be together, forehead touches ground. You're going to start with your hands behind your back. And then you're going to sweep your hands around to the position that you would be holding a barbell in if you were standing up. From this position, you're going to keep those shoulder blades pinched together and push those hands up as if you were completing a standing press. Go ahead and give me 10. Now, as always, we've got 2 rounds of this. Take your time. There's nowhere to go. This should take you just a few minutes, and the benefit is going to come in the next section. Today's strength is an all lower body development day. However, it should be referred to as an all hip day. We've got a combination of kettlebell swings and lateral step-ups. We're working both the outsides and the insides of the hip complex to make for a snappier movement. First, let's look at those American kettlebell swings. From a hinge position, you're going to snap those hips forward. The force to get the bell overhead comes exclusively from the hips. The arms should actually be fairly loose during this exercise. Shoulder blades are tight to guide. If the bell is too heavy, you can revert back down to Russians. However, we'd really like you to really try to load those hips up and get that bell overhead. Next, we're going to go goblet lateral step-ups. Using the same implement, finding something that you can step at least a couple inches, if not closer to a foot, starting from the right, lifting the right foot up, bringing the body along, and stepping over. The challenge in this is not to drift forward or drift back, or slightly turn right or left to where this becomes a front lunge. Now, if you have a dumbbell instead of a kettlebell, we're going to go dumbbell hang power snatches. Starting from the hang position at the knee, you're going to drive the hips, lift the elbow, snap up and over, retract the shoulder blade, ending off in about the same position that you would with that kettlebell swing. Now, with our movements today, we've got 12 to 15 kettlebell swings or 12 to 16 hang snatches because you're going to be doing half of those with each arm, followed directly by 8 to 10 goblet lateral step-ups. Now, you're going to again do this each leg. So the total count per round is going to be between 12 and 16 kettlebell swings or snatches and 16 to 20 lateral step-ups. It's a lot of work to get done in a 3-minute time period, so push yourself so that you get a little bit of rest. Now we've got 4 rounds of this. Let's go ahead and set our timer for 3 minutes, review the videos again if you need, and begin. Let's talk about that Metcon. Today's WOD, home slice, is a triplet of sit-ups, deadlifts, and run. Extremely low skill, very easy to access, which means that you can spend all of your effort on going all out and not getting confused by the movements. Starting with the sit-ups, we're mainly going to talk about standards here, but the pro tip is keep the abs flexed. With the knees bent, back on the ground, tuck the chin just a little bit to where you can feel your abs tighten up. Keep that same tightness as you perform all 30 of these sit-ups. We're looking for the hands to reach somewhere between the side of the foot and the toes, whether you're doing a butterfly or a traditional setup. Next, we're going to go into suitcase deadlift. 20 suitcase deadlifts, you're going to alternate arms between rounds, not within the round. So right hand, all 20. Next round, left hand, all 20. The weight on this should probably be no more than 35 for women, 50 for men. So it's going to be relatively light. You're going to spend your time focused, not getting the torso to move, and you're going to go very, very fast. Followed up by a 400-meter run. For most of us, this is going to be about a 2-minute effort. Maybe we're a little north, maybe we're a little bit south, but we're going to try to maintain incredible intensity during this. And if you don't have a place to run, remember, it's about 30 seconds of cardio for every 100 meters of running. This is a perfect one to do jumping jacks or mountain climbers or double unders if you have them. Don't spend your time, though, on something that's going to trip you up. If you don't have double unders, don't choose that as your cardio for today. The intention of a workout like this is to be able to go all out, straight out to the wall. Foot on the gas pedal. The stress that you put yourself under now will pay off in WODs to come. Let's go ahead and set up our area, decide what you're going to do for running or cardio, and get your playlist set. And we're going to begin in 3, 2, 1, go.